Mom takes away my paycheck but moves in jobless BF and then gets pregnant for 11th time, but she has no idea what I'm planning with my secret salary. I'm the fourth oldest of 10 kids. My mother is currently pregnant with her 11th. Yep. Ever since I was 12, I wanted to move out. I've been saving up money. It's been hard actually not spending, but I'm now 21 and have saved $7,000. My mom knows I work full-time, but I lied and told her it was an unpaid internship. Otherwise, she would have made me give her the money. Her boyfriends literally don't have money, so she's been taking my siblings and my checks since forever. I'm sick of living in this house with so many people. There's nothing more I want than to move away and live by myself finally. My friend and I always talked about moving to New York, and her uncle is a super who offered us an apartment at an excellent rate recently. The idea went from being just something we talked about to becoming a reality. Once I secured a job interview, I knew it was time to tell my mom I was moving out. Despite having 4 older siblings, none of them have moved out. I didn't know how she'd react. She was distraught and asked me how I had the money to move to somewhere as expensive as New York and pay rent. I admitted to saving money, and that's when she lost her temper. She started screaming up how I know she's struggling to pay rent and pay for her baby's formula and diapers, and one of her twin toddlers had to have surgery 2 years ago, and I didn't offer a dime, and they're my siblings. 2 weeks before my flight, my mom fainted at her job and was hospitalized. They said that the pregnancy was too high risk. She had problems with her other pregnancies before this one and almost died with her last pregnancy. They advised her to end it. Otherwise, the baby could cost her life. She refused, saying she's been getting pregnant since she was young. It wasn't gonna kill her now. She was in the hospital on bed rest, and she called me begging me to send her some of the money, not even all, to pay for a particular procedure to help her baby. I literally can't afford to waste a dime. My money isn't gonna last long. Even with a job lined up, I didn't want to risk potentially wasting all my money before I even got to New York, so I told her I couldn't. She went off calling me an idiot, saying moving isn't as important as her and her baby's life. All of my siblings are saying I'm evil and that I can wait to move later and that I'm young and I'm a major idiot for not helping at all. Once I get more stable, I do intend to send her money. I offered $500 and she hung up. I don't know if I'm wrong or not. Not the idiot. Your mom keeps getting pregnant by losers who can't or won't support their kids. Don't give her a dime and get out. You feel guilty because your mom who refuses to make choices that will allow her to support herself and her dependents, and your siblings who have been totally blinded by her are guilting you, not because you were in the wrong. I read it as the older siblings contribute, so they're angry because the OP is putting their own oxygen mask on first when they've been unable or unwilling to. They do say that all 4 older siblings still live at home. Those siblings are probably the ones keeping things afloat, not the idiot. The hospital won't refuse life-saving care to a patient, and anything complicated is going to cost way more than $7,000. Your mom's lying to you to make you stay. She probably faked the fainting, and the OP was her first call to lay on the guilt heavily. She has made her own bad decisions with bad men and expects her older kids to pick up the pieces. Go live your life, OP, and keep the money. EB baby, listen to me. Please, please, please move out ASAP. Just move out and make a life for yourself. Your family is toxic. Your mother should have thought of how to raise her kids before having them. And it's not your responsibility to raise your siblings. She knew getting pregnant the 11th time was risky. Every woman knows her body, yet she went ahead with it. Baby, if you stay back, they'll take away all of your savings, and you'll be stuck there forever. Please leave and don't ever listen well. Don't ever feel guilty for making yourself your priority ever. You are your priority, no one else. They will sort it out for the procedure if there really is any procedure, that is, not the idiot. 100% this. She chose to have you. You owe her nothing in return. She chose to have your siblings. She needs to be going after these men instead of her children for financial support. Go to New York. Build your life. She should be proud of you, not guilting you. Also, freeze your credit before your mom starts taking out loans in your name. For that matter, check your score and make sure she hasn't yet. I have a toddler, and my sister has a kid who's a few months older than mine. I've spent the last 3 years first on maternity leave, then with highly flexible working hours, and then fully working from home. My sister is a nurse, so she's always had insane hours, meaning childcare is very expensive. And with the last year, this has only gotten worse. And so from the time my child was a few months old, I offered to watch her kid too. Bit of a handful, but as the kids have gotten older, it's gotten easier. Helped by my workplace just giving me tasks and deadlines rather than strict hours. Our system was that as my place is between my sister and her workplace, she drops her child by on her way to work and then picks them up on her way home. The route is not direct, so her stopping by my place probably adds a 10-minute detour to her commute. Over the last 18 months, I've entered a polyamorous relationship with 2 people. We moved in together a couple weeks ago. My sister consistently called me about half an hour before drop-off in the days after the move. She asked that I come to her instead, usually saying she won't have time to make the detour, and I've agreed. However, after her consistently asking this over several days, I couldn't help but notice it coincided with me moving my partners in, so I confronted her about it. She said she was uncomfortable with it. I responded that her child has met my partners before, and she replied that that was separately, and she doesn't want to explain it to her kid because it's weird. I then said I would save her the trouble of explaining and stop babysitting entirely. This conversation happened about 10 minutes before she had to leave for work, so she had to go in late. It's been a couple of weeks. My sister is working herself into a nervous wreck trying to arrange childcare. She's already called in all the favors she has with relatives, and now she's paying an arm and a leg for a nanny whose hourly wage is not too far off my sister's. She's begged me to resume babysitting, but still at her place only. I feel bad because not only is this causing her issues, but the kids miss each other terribly. My sister has called me a witch for trying to force her to be comfortable with strangers around her kid and for expecting her to apologize for her comments. And I've said that they've met her kid already, and if she was that desperate, she'd suck it up and apologize. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Your sister is being judgmental about your life and choices in a way that is not okay. She cost herself the free childcare. That's on her. Just stick to your standard. My place is free. If she can't handle that generosity, that's her problem, not yours. Like, how hard is it to tell a child you have roommates? This is so judgmental. First, you are not leaving her without childcare. You're just not leaving your workplace. I assume your home office is not just a laptop on the couch. Pay fuel with your money and spend your time driving on top of providing her free childcare. You are not the idiot. You gave her free childcare. If she's not okay with your romantic choices, that is her problem. But wanting you to use your time and money to give her this free childcare exactly the way she wants it is a big idiot move from your sister. Plus, how long did the sister think OP would provide free childcare? Part of being a parent is working out childcare, and it seems like the sister has taken OP for granted. That's deeply unfair. It's not OP's responsibility to care for her nephew. Sister should have understood that she needed, at the very least, a backup solution for if OP were sick, incapacitated, on vacation, or changed jobs, so could not be the babysitter all the time. What's always with these people? I've heard the same thing about same-gender couples over the decades. It's not hard to explain to children. Children are malleable. They believe in Santa Claus, for goodness sake. Kids are like, where's your mommy? I have 2 daddies. Okay, goes back to coloring. In my experience, it's almost always a dog whistle for, I think showing my child that these things exist may make them want to do it too. Either way, clearly not the idiot. You are giving away a free service with reasonable expectations. Your sister isn't willing to budge, so she loses out. That's her choice. Recently, my daughter's biological father, 32, connected with me, 24 male, to express his concerns about the environment I was exposing his daughter to. For some background info, my sister got pregnant young, 23. She was older than me at the time. Around that time, she had been in a casual relationship with someone from her workplace, so it was fairly obvious who the father was. Long story short, he wanted nothing to do with her or the baby. She considered an abortion. My family was supportive of any decisions she made, but in the end, she decided that she'd go through with the pregnancy. My daughter came into my care early on. My sister died a little over 3 years ago, right around the time she had had her baby. She had me down as the person she wanted to care for her daughter after her passing. Obviously, we didn't expect it to happen so soon. Her death was sudden, and it hit my entire family hard. My mother and my older brother, 30 at the time, now 33, offered to take care of her since I was still young, but I wanted to respect my sister's wishes. She wanted me to take care of her, so that's what I was going to do. I tried to put a pause on my love life. Naturally, I've been wary about allowing people into my daughter's life, especially since I don't want her to feel like she's losing more people. She already lost her mom, which was hard enough. Still, I met a great guy 25 about 2.5 years ago, and we're engaged now. He's a fantastic co-parent and boyfriend-fiancé. She's gotten into the habit of calling him dad now after asking him if she could. It was honestly one of the most adorable things she's ever done. Her biological father recently reached out after hearing of this, and he had some strong opinions about how his daughter was being raised in the environment she was being raised in. He doesn't believe that I'm a fit parent for her solely because I'm bi, and I apparently chose to marry a man instead of a woman. He doesn't believe it'll be a healthy environment for my daughter. I may not be her biological father, but I've been there for her from the start, unlike him, and so is my fiancé. He's been in her life ever since she was a baby. She doesn't even know a life without him. I'm not even sure he should get a say in any of this. Unlike my romantic preferences, he chose not to be part of her life. Still, he believes she needs a strong male role model in her life along with a female one. She doesn't need to be confused by having two dads, as he put it, and he suddenly wants to be in her life. I don't know if I want something like that in my daughter's life. He's not reliable, and when things get tough, it's safe to say he'll most likely up and leave. My fiancé doesn't trust him at all, but he's always been protective of our daughter. Nonetheless, I don't know what I should do about him. On the one hand, I don't want someone like him in her life, but I also don't want her to feel like she missed out on knowing her father because of me. There's no mention made of the legal aspects. You need to make sure you're covered there as well. You're probably down as the guardian as per your sister's wishes. Is that enough? The biological father didn't give a darn before, but is that enough to prevent him from raising a legal challenge to whatever the status quo is now? Get some legal advice if you have any doubts or uncertainties here. Get those sorted quickly. Stability in your daughter's life is something to protect and fiercely. Not the idiot. Make sure he isn't listed on her birth certificate. I'm worried for a couple of reasons. A lot of states want reunification with estranged parents. In some cases, it is a good thing, but this doesn't seem like one of them. Find any documentation your sister had that he abandoned them. I'm thinking he's in a relationship with someone right now who knows about little one and is pushing this. It doesn't sound like he wants parental rights. He's just a loser who doesn't want two men raising his biological daughter, but nothing more. And OP, regarding the morality of the situation, stand your ground. Protect your daughter first. It's emotionally damaging to have someone saunter in and out of your life whenever they feel like it, and it's also damaging for someone to fill her head with lies about how her loving fathers are somehow wrong for loving each other. Nope. Nope, not while she's so young and impressionable at least. Nothing healthy will come from it. He's not looking to connect with her. He just doesn't approve of your orientation. Allowing him to form a relationship with her will just bring hate into her life. Also, this could easily backfire from a legal standpoint if you're in the States at least. Once a relationship is formed, courts are less willing to sever it. Don't open that window. Congratulations on the upcoming wedding. My fiancé and I hope to get married soon. However, we have one incompatibility, which is our financial situation. My fiancé is a nurse, and I know it's an amazing job and very fulfilling, but she doesn't make a lot of money. Currently, she still has to pay off some student loans, not a lot. I, on the other hand, have a lot more money comparatively. My grandparents left me a large home when they passed, and it's approximately $2,500,000, and I have purchased my own apartment, fully paid off by me, worth about $1 million. Additionally, I'll be inheriting some more assets when my parents pass. After talking to a lot of financial planners, family members, and some lawyers, I've made the decision to go forward with a prenup to protect myself. When I told my fiancée, she was furious. She told me I was trying to hide the assets from her, but I don't see it like that. Those were things I had before the relationship, and I don't want to run the risk that she could divorce me and steal my family inheritance or my own hard work. Right now, we're at an impasse and she's been giving me glares and we haven't been talking about it. I've tried to explain it like we wear seatbelts, not because we're expecting an accident but being protective, which is what a prenup is. I don't know where to go from here. Does the prenup have conditions for what happens to her if she gives up career advancement to have children? If she has his children and raises them while you get to work and focus on a career, things should change in the contract. Is there a time limit? Is there a fidelity clause? Or does she have to put up with any crap from you because you hold the purse strings? What happens if he decides to stop working and live off his inheritance, lazing around the house or having holidays overseas? But she doesn't have an inheritance, so she has to stay working while he holidays with other rich folks. She needs independent legal advice. Are you giving her money so she can hire an independent lawyer to advise her of what she should ask for? In one of your responses, you say, regarding childbirth, for the career advancement, we will see because my family is very on the ball and will likely be there to help, and I can work from home, which comes across as very dismissive of the huge financial, social, physical, and mental impacts that childbirth has. It feels as if this is all about protecting you and nothing about building your life together or anything that gives her any protection or allows her to build up an equitable retirement fund. 100 times this. If I were obese fiancé, I'd be having some serious cold feet right now and not just about the prenup. The sense of entitlement here is staggering. A prenup is fine, but it should be a two-way conversation, and you should be working as a team to devise something that optimally protects all parties. Also, the description of nursing as an amazing job and so fulfilling made me laugh out loud. More like undervalued, underpaid, overworked. Society is already ripping your fiancé off and rewarding you for the luck of being born into privilege, and instead of seeking to redress this injustice, you seek to perpetuate it. For the past year, I've been pursuing my master's degree abroad. I met this incredible man, and we've been going strong for a year and a half. He recently proposed, and I cannot wait to be his wife. I've just come back to my home country for a quick visit, and I'm planning to return to the country where I did my degree once I start work. Being back home after living and quarantining with my fiancé for a year has been hard. We've gone from seeing each other every day to having a FaceTime call every night. I was out with my friends one night and explained that it was difficult, and I hope to move my flight up to spend a little more time with him. My friends became furious. They told me that no man should ever have that much of a hold on me and that he's not worth my time. They had an issue with him not getting me a diamond ring despite me explicitly saying I didn't want a diamond. They tried to rationalize it by saying I was out of his league and that they all discuss this frequently. They all know my boyfriend is incredible. He's not toxic in any way and makes me feel so loved. I asked them why they felt like telling me this now, and they said that they wanted to nip it in the bud before I embarrassed myself with him on my arm. I asked why it mattered, and they said that they would have told me not to date him if they met him first. I told them to go away and said that maybe if they looked in the mirror, they'd know that them being my friends was by far the most embarrassing thing. They got really offended, and I paid and left the restaurant we were at. I'm not replying to their texts or calls, and I'm hopping on a plane tomorrow. I uninvited them all to the wedding. Our mutual friends call me an idiot for reacting how I did, but I feel like any rational person would. Now they're posting cryptic things to Instagram about fake friends, and I just think it's so childish. My mutual friends are threatening to not come to my wedding over this, and I told them that it's okay. I only want supporters there. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. So many red flags. If they're telling you that a man who genuinely loves and cares for you isn't the one for you and claims that you're embarrassing yourself, their hearts aren't a good place. It's apparent that they're jealous or just don't want to see you happy. You did the right thing by cutting off those toxic friends and doing so quickly. Also, why are grown adults posting cryptic messages to Instagram? That's a middle schooler drama. You dodged a bullet with them, lol. Not the idiot. But I wonder, was it his looks that they judged him on or maybe country of origin? Because he sure sounds like a great guy, so I cannot see any other reason. And if that's the case, then geez, girl. You need better friends. Perhaps one's not as shallow as a muddy puddle. Screw them.